How's it going? Welcome back, my beautiful sinners, to another great and amazing video here on the Savior Show. That's right, welcome back to this amazing channel. Join the channel today if you're new. That would mean so much to me as a smaller independent creator. Join this amazing channel. We make tons and tons of different types of content on this channel. We expose all of the BS, and I make electronic music. Go support it, download it, and share your love on Spotify and all music platforms. That would mean so much to me. And become a sinner today and let us join together and do something amazing here on this channel. Today, my sinners, I am discussing the philosophy of Bushido. That's right, the philosophy of Bushido, the samurai code. I really hope that you enjoy this video about the 7 virtues of Bushido, the Japanese samurai philosophy. I really hope that you find some philosophical value in this video, and that would mean so much to me if you're new to the channel to go down below and subscribe, because I'm really passionate about trying to help other people. Now, a lot of people don't really have that much understanding of what the samurai actually were. They didn't just follow the emperor, okay? They were basically a private militia, a private army, and you know, they would basically be recruited by the shogun, okay? Before Japan started taking influences from the West, and I personally think that really did destroy Japan. And you know, it's so sad to see, because we are losing culture in this modern day world, okay? You know, because every country is pretty much becoming the same. Most countries are losing their uniqueness and their culture. And you know, that's great that we have access to travel and, you know, experience all of these different cultures. But by doing this, by being connected, a lot of cultures kind of lose their individuality. And to me, that's kind of a shame, because ancient Japan was so interesting. And you know, their culture, even now, is so different from our own. And when I lived in Japan, I just found that so interesting. And I really love the old history of Japan, because it's just crazy how much has changed. And before the influence of the West came into Japan, it was just a completely different type of mentality to have. And I just feel like their culture doesn't get enough credit. You know, there are so many otakus and weeaboos who just give Japan a bad reputation, a bad credit, because, you know, a lot of people think Japan is just this, you know, anime crazy, cringeworthy kind of, you know, place where all they do is watch anime, and it's exactly like the mangas that you read. It's exactly like these animes that everyone consumes, and the whole otaku image has really basically destroyed the reputation for many Westerners. They can't help but intertwine that image of anime and otaku culture with Japan, but actually Japan is so rich with its own culture and history. I don't understand why people are so interested in fantasy, anime, and all of this stuff, when the real history of Japan is actually so interesting, with the Shogun uprising and the samurai warriors and the samurai code, the different belief systems going on in Japan, and the invasion of the Christians, and all of this amazing stuff, and this rich culture in respecting nature and other people. You know, I just really find Japan is such a magical place, and the history of Japan is so interesting. I just wanted to get that out of the way, because I just find it so infuriating. I just find it very annoying that most people can't appreciate the history and the knowledge that Japan has to offer, and that can really benefit the Western world, because we can learn a lot from Japan and the Japanese culture, and especially ancient Japan. So that is why I wanted to discuss the Bushido, the philosophy of Bushido, and the samurai code of ethics, and how we can translate that into our current modern day world. The virtues of a samurai, okay, often gets compared to chivalry in the medieval age, you know, with knights and their code of ethics as well, you know, basically being brave and being honest and trying to do the right thing. But Bushido goes a little bit further and a little bit deeper. And before we get into dissecting exactly what Bushido is, okay, first we have to understand this is actually just a representation of the code of the values that the samurai actually have, okay? This has basically been fictionalized, the idea of Bushido, okay? It's not actually 100% a real thing, because yes, the samurai did follow their strict code of ethics and philosophy. So in the Edo period, like I said, you know, culture really started to boom. That is when we started to see Japan really develop its literature and its art, because, you know, a lot of people then were free to be more creative and, you know, to understand more Western ideas and all that kind of stuff. So there was a massive shift in the Edo period. So the idea of Bushido, the code of the samurai, okay, that kind of emerged in the Edo period, okay. It wasn't really talked about that much in the Kamakura period because they didn't actually really have this idea of, you know, what a samurai was. In the Edo period, okay, the samurai, basically that is when they started to go extinct. They started to become, you know, more involved in the arts and becoming lords themselves and becoming, you know, intertwined with this new Japanese government system and becoming politicians. Basically, a lot of samurai would become writers, poets, and, you know, bureaucrats because there was no need for the warrior way anymore because they had this new age of peace, okay? So the idea, the idealizing version of the samurai code is the Bushido. Now, they did follow all of these different types of philosophies, okay? But there wasn't exactly, you know, a law. It wasn't written out as this is the way, this is how you must follow, this is what you must follow to become a samurai. You have to follow these 7 ethics to become a samurai. It wasn't exactly like that, okay? Just for reference, I'm gonna give you the structure of how basically the hierarchy worked in ancient Japan, okay? Now, the emperor was the authority figure and the leader of Japan, and what he said was supposed to go, but it didn't exactly really work like that. The real leaders of Japan, of, you know, this ancient Japan, the Kamakura period and beyond, and before that, okay, it was basically the shogun, okay? Now, the shogun were basically a group of lords. Basically, they came from very rich families, okay? The shogun were basically the original government of Japan before it really became a proper government, back when, you know, they actually had far more freedom. The daimyo, who were basically ruled by the shogun, were basically lords and families, you know, very rich families who basically looked after, you know, different districts of Japan. Basically, the shogun, okay, were military dictators, okay, you know, from the emperor himself. They were basically, you know, really high in command military commanders, which kind of sounds scary, but that is basically how they ruled Japan. They ruled the daimyo, and then they would basically rule the samurai, who were basically just private military. So that was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hierarchy system of Japan, which I just find absolutely interesting. I think it was a little bit more freer back then, but as a peasant, let's be honest, you couldn't really do that much. But, you know, I still just find it absolutely fascinating instead of just having basically a one world government like we do nowadays. Basically, you would have to be born into a samurai family, okay? You would basically have to come from samurai blood to become a samurai, which I think is pretty cool. Now, there were basically loners of the samurai, who was Miyamoto Musashi. Now, he was a great philosopher, artist, and warrior, and I'm gonna make a separate video about Miyamoto Musashi another time, okay, because I absolutely love him. But basically, they were ronin, and they were basically drifters, mercenaries, and basically, you know, loners of the samurai code. They would go their own way. As an individualist, I really respect that, and I just think that's so cool that, you know, they had independent samurai. I really wish we could live back in the days where we could basically forge our own paths and actually, you know, have to defend ourselves against other people and nature. Now, you know, a lot of people might say, Savior, you're crazy. It's great that we now have peaceful times. But yes, that is good, but a lot of humans now in the Western world feel like they're missing something because we aren't actually really living the struggle that ancient humans throughout history had to live. Basically, we've just been domesticated, which is kind of sad because of the government system, if you ask me. I just wanted to give you a little bit of backstory about ancient Japan so you could really understand the culture and how different it was back then. So now, finally, Savior, let's finally get into the Bushido Code of Ethics, okay? The philosophy of the samurai. That is what you're here for, so let's get on with it. Let's face it, Sonny Jim, my content, this content right here is the best, so make sure you go down below and subscribe, and maybe consider becoming a member, because let's face it, this is some interesting shit. I don't know if it's just me, but Bushido sounds like an Italian ham. I just think of, would you like some ciabatta bread with Bushido ham? That's what I think of when I hear the word Bushido. But actually, it is the 7 virtues of the Samurai Philosophy. But to me, I just can't help but shake that image of some nice, high quality ham. Bushido, like I said, has its roots in Zen Buddhism, okay? So, from the 13th century, the samurai conduct was heavily affected by Zen Buddhism. Meditation was utilized to relax, calm, and soothe the mind, providing mental focus over the enemy. Being a samurai is always about having respect, discipline, and self-control, and the fact that it basically ties into Buddhism is just so cool to me. Finally, Savior, are you ready, boys? We're going to now list the 7 virtues of Bushido. So, number 1, G. This basically means justice or integrity, okay? This is ensuring that the individual has the right frame of mind and the mindset when making decisions, that they have the power to decide swiftly. It is to guarantee that the person avoids indecisiveness and that decisions are based on proper reasons. So a lot of people nowadays are very indecisive and very bad at making decisions because we have so many choices, but the way of the samurai, the way that you should think if you're trying to live by the way of the Bushido code and the way of the samurai and the philosophy of the samurai, then you should basically take in logic, take in your integrity, and make decisions based on reason without emotion. Number 2, U, which roughly translates to courage. U is focused on ensuring that an individual does and has the courage to do the right thing, have their own beliefs, and have the courage to follow their own beliefs, okay? And I think that's a pretty good one. So basically, you can translate that roughly into this modern day world by saying, if you have a passion, if you have something that you really want to do but you're afraid of doing it, if you have a passion and if you have something that you really want to do and you maybe want to go and explore a new country, a new culture, but you're afraid to do it, for example, just like I was when I was going to move to Japan, I almost didn't do it because I was so petrified of being alone in a foreign, confusing, alien world where I couldn't speak the language, okay? But you do it anyway because you have the courage to push yourself and to believe in yourself, having courage in the face of adversity and disappointment. Life will give you lots and lots of disappointment and negativity and lots of depressing environments that you might have to enter. If you have the courage to withstand nature's cruelty, basically push yourself further and further, then that is such an important thing to have. Then that is a very important quality to have, which is courage. Don't live your life based on what other people want you to do, and use your courage to help others and to push yourself and help yourself further. Number 3, Jin, which roughly translates to mercy or benevolence. As great warriors, samurai have the power to kill. Yet due to Bushido, Jin is to ensure that their mind and thinking is balanced, having mercy and sympathy for your enemies at the proper situation, understanding your darker side, understanding what you're capable of, practicing your dark side, meditating on your dark side, because because of the government we can't exactly really use our dark side, and you wouldn't really want to do that anyway, but practicing your dark shadow. Be ready to be dangerous, but have self-control not to use it, okay? That is basically what we can learn from having mercy, because being powerful enough to inflict damage and to be evil, but having the willpower and the benevolence to basically transform yourself to be a better person, being a strong individual and having your own beliefs and thoughts and opinions, and be willing to be honest and to share your thoughts and opinions and to help others. And if the need arises that you're powerful enough and you're dangerous enough and you're strong enough that you can tap into your shadow, but you have the self-awareness and the self-restraint not to do that, that is what having mercy and benevolence is making yourself strong, practicing your shadow, but basically not using it unless if you absolutely have to. Even though you would take life as a samurai, having mercy and benevolence and sympathy that would make sure that you never truly become a dark person. Number 4, Rei, which is respect. Based on the belief of the samurai, it is important that they respect and be polite towards everything. Their way of life is a way of respect. Respect for the elders, respect for life, respect for belief, respect for other people's beliefs and nature and philosophy and all aspects of life, okay? So respect is very important, and I feel like that is really lacking in the modern day society today, especially in the modern world and in the Western world. We really don't have respect for each other and other people's beliefs and opinions, and if someone has a different opinion to our own, then we automatically hate them, which is just so stupid. And there are so many people like that nowadays that just really have no respect for life, for nature, for other people, for anything. We've just lost our respect, and that is one of the most important things that we really need to reclaim, because having mutual respect for everything is how we can actually all live together peacefully, and we have completely lost that. Number 5, Makoto, which translates to honesty. Honesty was always vital, since the samurai believe that honesty in everything that they do basically translates to respect. It would also mean that they are trustworthy to other people around them and to the greater society that they are interacting with. Honesty is of course very, very important. We can only really ever help other people and the world around us through honesty, because through lies and deceit, nothing ever good can ever really come from that, usually. Number 6, Meiyo, which translates to honor. Living and dying with great honor was vital to every samurai warrior. Everything that they did was with great honor, meaning everything that they did based on their belief was with honor. Now that's pretty transparent. Having honor, having respect for yourself and others around you, that is what honor is. Basically having virtue and respect for everything. Number 7, Shugi, which translates to loyalty. Another vital aspect of the Bushido philosophy was loyalty. The samurai treated each other just like family and would safeguard and help their fellow warriors. This was important because it meant that they could trust each other, knowing that they would be loyal despite the circumstances. So basically, having loyalty to whoever it is in life, your friends, your family, anyone, having loyalty is very, very important. You should be loyal to your friends and your family and to the people that you care about, because loyalty means that you have someone who is always there for you and you are always there for them. And you know, that is pretty much the biggest and the most powerful bond that you can ever form as a human. So of course having loyalty is very important, and don't betray your loyalty. Don't be distrustful, don't do something dishonest, okay? Be loyal as much as you possibly can be. Basically betraying loyalty without being honest, without having honor, without having respect, you know, you lose all the other virtues if you aren't loyal. So being loyal is a very important thing to safeguard your moral philosophy and principles. So my sinners, that is the Bushido, that is the samurai philosophy, all 7 principles and 7 virtues of the samurai philosophy, the Bushido philosophy. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I really hope that you learned something. I really hope that you can take this philosophy with you and change your life for the better. And I know this was a very long video. I really do love this topic, and I really want to make another video about Miyamoto Musashi. And I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please share this video around and subscribe and share it around as much as you possibly can, because this really does mean a lot to me. So yeah, I really hope that you liked this video and that you share it around, and I'll see you in the next video. Have yourselves a great day, my beautiful sinners, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.